Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tavern. How's everybody doing tonight?
How are we doing? Wait a minute.
That was my
Cheers.
best. That was my best impression of Greg right there.
Cheers.
Cheers. So,
Greg,
Dave,
Greg's feeling a little under the weather right now. So
he's got
feel better.
A little COVID issue. So we hope Greg feels better. It'll be nice to have him back next week. So, how was you?
Long time no see.
Welcome back to Iowa. So, you were down here. Your first PGA show from the media perspective. As a member of the media, technically as a member of the media. We're going to get into that in last call, so I don't want to get into that. So we will get into that in a little bit. But how's the cold weather treating you?
It was in the mid 40s when I got back, and all the snow that we had while I was gone melted.
How was your battery when you got back, Dave?
My battery in my truck didn't work, and it had to be jumped.
Yeah, that's a good time. Good times had by all for that one. Sorry about that.
It happens.
So, not much going on in the world of golf this week.
Well, we had the Farmers last week, and we're going to be honest about this. We completely forgot to make picks.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot to get into. We, it's going to be. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I'm excited for our happy hour guest tonight. I don't know about you, but I am super stoked for our happy hour guest. So,
but the Farmers last week.
Let's jump into first round and we'll go into that. So let's do that.
Oh, that's right. You got the.
Yeah, I got the calm tonight. Like this is like I'm used to. Greg and I usually share these responsibilities. Like he has one area, I have the other. I got it all tonight. So.
Because I have no admin responsibilities.
No, you have no admin responsibilities. So if there's any issues tonight, I'll take all the blame for it and I'll sit on that sword. So that's fine.
So the Farmers last week. Let me pull that up here because I don't even have it ready to go.
Matthew Pavon, Frenchman.
Matthew Pavon won. Yes.
Is going. Where did he end up? He went to. Where did he go for dinner the other night? After that, because he went someplace.
Nobu.
Nobu. Yeah, because we all heard about that.
But here's the thing about the Farmers that really threw us off with a Wednesday start and, being so inundated with the PGA Show. And I'm not a fan of the Wednesday start, to be honest. I understand why they did it because of football.
Why. Yeah, well, and I mean, let's be real. Like, we're going to rewrite the Taylor Swift drinking game. Don't think that isn't coming because the Taylor Swift drinking game rewrite is coming. Because for the
somebody
Super Bowl,
already put one out there.
They stole our idea.
We
were the first.
Everybody's.
We were the first to that. I just want to point that out. We were the first ones to post that. I feel like we need to do one like pre-game, during the game, and then post-game. I feel like that needs to happen. I think that I understand the why they did it. I also wonder, though, from the tour's perspective, and you look at an event like this where Farmers is said that this is the end when their contract ends in 2026. That's going to be it for Farmers being a sponsor.
They're done. Yeah,
they're done. So I wonder how much that had to play in that too.
Well, you don't want to take, and you look at the field here. Finau finished tied for 6. Hosler was tied for 6. Schauffele was tied 9th. Matsuyama 13th. Homa 13th. Bahia 13th. Zalatoris 13th. There was a couple good names in here, but nothing, like earth-shattering right now as we start getting into a little bit more of these tournaments where some of the bigger names, Scotty, Rory are going to be, up there playing all the time. It was a great course. There. It should have drawn more at Torrey Pines than what it did. But it was just, I feel it was like with everything going on. You're welcome, Mike. You're with the PGA Show going on there in Orlando, the spectacle that was the AFC NFC Championship game. the farmers kind of gotten forgotten. I didn't see a whole lot of coverage on it. I didn't have a lot of, headlines coming across my phone about it.
I would agree with that.
It was just kind of forgotten all the way across.
But I am gonna say this. There's been a lot of chatter this week about Matthew Pavon winning, and is that good for golf?
I think it's great for golf.
Does it show? And a lot of people have been commenting this is because everybody left for live, and this is why Matthew Pavon is winning on the PGA Tour. I'm gonna say this: next guy up mentality. They have to have it. It's kind of like the New England Patriots here for the PGA Tour. Anybody out there can win. So when you criticize somebody for winning, hello there. Bradley just said,
here's the.
I have a hard time when you criticize somebody on tour for winning because they're that freaking good.
Yes. We didn't hear it when the amateur won 2 weeks ago.
Oh no, there was a lot of chatter about that online too, that the PGA Tour is weak because an amateur won. You know what? I'm going to say this. Dude won the USAM. He obviously is a stick. His future was on the PGA Tour. And you know what? Let's go. He turned pro. Should have. That's where he's going to make his money.
Hit ball, make putt, move on to the next hole.
But no, I think that the tour itself, I think they're in a good spot. There's a lot of chatter today that the deal with the Strategic Sports Group is imminent. So I think that is going to be an interesting move when that finally happens. But I think when you look at last week's event, it kind of got buried. I'll be honest with you. Again, not a signature event. I kind of understand why Farmers is pulling out. And if I was Farmers, I'd be annoyed too.
Yeah.
Where's your ROI? Here's an event that has done wonders for the APGA Tour.
Yes.
The minority tour that plays, and they do a ton of stuff for that event. They have a final round on the other course, on the North course, during the event on Saturday they have it. I feel like they have been the good ones for the PGA Tour, and they kind of got shafted because of the way the signature events are working out.
And, here's the thing. We met some great guys that played on the APGA Tour over the weekend that we'll get into a little bit later on.
We did, yes. So, no, it was a great week last week, but we'll get into that. So, let's talk Pebble this week, and this is interesting. Peter Jacobson talked about this on PGA Tour Radio one day about Pebble Beach being the most important event on the PGA Tour. And now that being a signature event, the celebrities and the amateur partners don't get to play the weekend because of the way they're doing it now. They're just playing on Thursday and Friday.
Which I can't get behind. I'm sorry. I wanted
to hear his argument on why this was the most important event on tour, and he won me over in that he said the reason this was the most important event on tour is it's where all of the sponsors get to come and wine and dine or rub elbows with the PGA Tour players because they all get a spot in a tournament.
But, here's the thing. You go to this tournament to watch Bill Murray, and I want to watch Bill Murray for 4 days.
Bill's not playing.
My point stands. Let me watch Larry the Cable Guy for 4 days. You go to this tournament, this Pro-Am event.
We did it. We did out at Lake Nona.
I know.
Lake Nona.
So we get to do that from, you and I were there for the LPGA side of it on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. You went a couple other days while I was playing some other golf. But it's events like this that bring, viewership in and, everything else. You're not just watching,
they bring the casual viewer in. Like my wife might actually watch because of Bill Murray and the antics that Bill Murray does. And my wife, like her watching golf is like watching paint dry. So,
let's tee it up with Michael Ray out there at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Man, if I'm on the bag, let's go. Let's go. I am in for that. But no, I think when you
for that event, that's the draw.
Right.
Not that they're
Right.
making it a
No.
signature event. It's the amateur side of this that, love them or hate them, watching Aaron Rodgers or Timberlake or, any of these guys tee it up and play with the pros that you just don't get to always see.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Steph Curry is, can't play in the event because, Golden State Warriors basketball.
Right.
But,
right.
We get to see
And
our
you
favorite
look
Dallas
at the-
Cowboys, field goal holder, try and take it down the fairway
dude.
here.
He's a stick.
Yeah,
too.
he is.
But no, I think the aspect of the event, I think the event is really going to look at. I don't mind it being a signature event. I think they had to keep AT&T happy. I just worry that the signature. I'm more fearful that as we move forward, these signature events are going to become more of a problem for the PGA Tour.
Exactly. When is this coming from a guy that bought his Powerball ticket? When is too much too much?
But at the end of the day, like when you look at events like whatever the event is now in West Palm that at PGA National that was the Honda. Right. Honda backs out. You have Torrey Pine, you have the Farmers backing out. When you look at these events that aren't in the signature event rotation, are we going to run into problems with filling PGA Tour dates? Like,
and here's what I'm going to equate it to: college bowl games.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pointless ones of those. And don't get me wrong. If I have tickets, I'm going to it, even if I have tickets.
Yeah.
Like,
you're 6-6 and get a bowl game. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Right. And there's sponsorships and everything for your back pocket queso fondita cheese bowl that happens.
We had the avocados from Mexico bowl here. Come on. The Cure Bowl is avocados from Mexico, or whatever that slogan is for that commercial.
Yeah. The Pop-Tart. We all saw the image.
Pop-Tart Bowl. The Pop-Tart Bowl was the best bowl game of the year only because of the Pop-Tart.
Right. But here's the thing. There's no coverage.
No.
Who wants, the Pinstripe Bowl, the only people watching that are go to those schools because it's played at Yankee Stadium. Okay, a draw. But
yeah, well, yeah, the whatever the Fenway Bowl was, like the only reason I watched it was I was at the barbershop and they were cutting my hair and it was on. Like, and I'm a diehard Red Sox fan. So I think the other thing that we
need to get away from, it's the same thing with the golf events. But you try and run a full schedule playing every week. There's going to be people that are happy and not happy, in it. But
I agree. You're still playing golf. Like
you're still playing golf. But there comes a point in time where, he has a $1.6 million payout for that, and the winner of Pebble is going to get what, 15 for a signature event.
No, it's like 4. It's like 3.5.
Yeah.
The winner of Pebble gets the winner of signature events get $3.5 million.
Okay.
Total purse is $2 million or $20 million for 80.
$20 million, right?
So, again, all this was the tour knee jerk reacting to Live, and we can go down the road. I guess we can talk it now. Rory came out today and said that he.
We'll get to it later.
We'll get to it
later.
All right.
We'll get to it
so
later.
let's talk the field this week. There was an interesting thing that came out this week. And if you could do me a favor and give me some odds on these 3 players.
Sure. Roll the intro.
Yeah, that's probably good. We'll just jump right into that. Hold on. Where is that?
Keeping you on task.
All right. I do need to say, hey, John Bell. John Bell, we ran into him at the PGA Show last week. He's watching on Instagram right now. So what's up, John? And thank you to everyone who's watching us on Instagram because we do appreciate you. So give me some odds right now on the next 3 guys. So, and I will tell you the story behind this. So Peter Malnati.
Ooh, I may have to scroll for that one.
It's gonna be way down the list. I can tell you that right now.
I'm not seeing him.
Yeah. How about Webb Simpson?
Webb Simpson, 350 to 1.
So Malnati,
Peter Malnati. I found Peter. He's at the bottom of the list at 800 to 1.
Okay. And then Adam Scott.
Well, Adam Scott, I saw him. He was a little bit higher. Um, 65 to 1.
Okay, so the reason I asked those three names is that they are 3 sponsors exemptions this week. Now, there's 80 players in the field. 3 sponsors exemptions were handed out. Malnati is ranked 245th in the world. Webb Simpson is ranked 225th in the world. However, all 3 of those guys, including Adam Scott, are members of the PGA Tour are on the policy board.
Shock face.
How did they get a sponsors invite with those rankings? That couldn't go to somebody more deserving?
Well, Adam Scott has the same odds as Keegan, and he's 1 spot above Thagala. Keegan's coming in at 65 to 1 as well, too.
Interesting.
He's also better odds than last year's winner of Justin Rose, who's coming in at 80 to 1.
That doesn't surprise me. Justin hasn't been on form since winning there.
Yeah.
He played good at the Ryder Cup, let's be real.
Yeah. Well, everybody on Team Europe played good at the Ryder Cup.
I mean, that is like the most valid statement Dave has ever committed here on the golfing.
And this is where Greg would play. And this is where Greg would play a video.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't have that. I could really care. So, who's our favorites this week? Go over the favorites.
Okay. Coming in tied at 8 to 1. Scotty and Rory. Surprise. Victor coming in at 12 to 1. And then Xander Schauffele coming in at 14. And Homa at 16. And Cantley at 18. Jordan Spieth at 18. Right there.
Nice. Hey, Scott, you're welcome here for this State 48 Desert Fox co-brand. I'll just stand up here real quick. Scott's watching. We got State 48 Desert Fox shirt tonight. Repping that tonight. So might have some news coming in a few weeks on some things that we can't announce right now. I'm repping State 48 tonight for Scott. So So the usual suspects are on the top of the board.
On the top of the leaderboard, yes. And
so you can go ahead and Sharpie my pick in, and it's a guy that didn't finish outside the top 15 last year, and that's Scotty Scheffler.
Well, okay, before we lock in your pick here, this February starts a new month, and Waste Management is next week. You cannot pick Scotty the rest of the month.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Okay. All right.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not picking Scotty at Waste Management. I'm good with that.
Okay. Just saying this tournament, we're making our picks here in January, but this tournament starts in February.
Yeah.
So, Greg being under the weather, he sent me his picks earlier. He's taken Xander Schauffele. And I'm a little torn on my pick here. I really am. My gut says not to do this, just because of everything that has come out lately, and I don't think his mind is fully wrapped around playing golf at the moment.
Just go ahead. You're taking Rory. Just stop bullshit.
I am not. Okay. I am not going to take Rory.
Wow.
Not going to do it. I'm.
Are you slow playing Patrick Cantley pick right now?
I'm going to take Max Homa.
Wow. That's usually my go-to.
I'm going to take Max Homa right now. just I really thought about taking Rory. I'm not going Ricky, Brad.
I mean, there's that too.
No, Mike, that's just
the
fan that's just a fan that he has on. Yeah. Duff, my picks are already in.
Yeah, I got to do that one, and I got to do the other one too because I missed that one last week.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think, and we're going to allude to this, quite a bit. Rory had some comments that came out a little bit earlier that I don't know if it contradicts. It could 100% contradicts everything he's been going through. But I think I like Max Homa on this course. He didn't play great last week. He didn't play bad either. So,
you don't have to be the longest. You don't have to be the longest hitter at Pebble. It's a shorter golf course. So.
Yep. So that's where we are.
All right. Well, that being said, their picks are locked. I don't know. Greg just wrote, "I told you no." I don't know what he's saying. I told you no on. We're gonna go ahead and roll happy hour, and Sqairz. We're just gonna do that. So hope everybody enjoys happy hour here. And
it's a pre-recorded video from a little bit earlier. This is a
pre-recorded video, so enjoy this because Bob drops these shoes and they are fire. So here you go. Yeah. Okay. All right, welcome back to the Tavern, everybody. So, Dave, I don't know about you, but I am super excited about tonight, aren't you?
I am really excited. This is it's a long time coming. It's been a while since we've had this guest on the show. He's one of our favorite people
in the world. Favorite people. He's another
long-time supporter of the Tavern.
And he's a fellow New Englander and a Red Sox fan, so I like him just for that reason alone. So let's welcome back Bob Winskowitz from Sqairz Golf at the Tavern. Bob, how are you?
Guys, great. What an intro. Gosh.
Hey, well, Bob, I was going to show you this. I meant to show you this. So last week, obviously, was the PGA Show. The week before was the LPGA Tournament of Champions that they have here with the celebrities. Yeah. And Tim Wakefield normally plays in that. And obviously, Tim passed away from cancer. So they gave all the players these hats with the number 49, like the Red Sox retired them. And on this hat, I've got that's on the other side here, Kevin Millar. That is Derek Lowe. And the small one is the guy with the longest last name, and that's AJ Pierzynski now on there as well.
Wow!
So all guys
he doesn't know what Derek, to do with his hands.
And all guys that played with Derek and played with Wake in Boston. So pretty excited about that. It was a fun time out there. I actually got to caddy with Millar on Wednesday afternoon. He was in our pro-am group. And the Millar that we get on TV and the Millar that you see, like you see all the video clips of, that is the same Kevin Millar you get all the time. And it's awesome. At one point, the guys are trying to bust his chops about something. And I looked up and I was like, man, you were talking to the guy who was the greatest walk in Red Sox history. And he turned around and winked at me and he said, you know it.
I think the other great part about that tournament is we were sitting on 18 and 49 yards out from the hole, they had Wakefield's number painted in the middle of the fairway.
Had the number out there, 49 yards out from the middle of the green. So,
oh, how awesome is that?
Yeah, so it was really cool. It was really cool what they did for Wake. So, but yeah, no. So, Bob, I'm going to start this by saying, typically, I enjoy our conversation, humor, a good hug during the PGA Show, and you guys weren't here. So that is why you are here on the Tavern tonight. So I appreciate you making time for us this evening. We did miss you last week at the PGA Show. All of the Tavern was there. We would have loved to have had you on the podcast from the show. But I'm glad you made time for us tonight. So how's everything going? Nothing going on, right?
It's interesting. Every year, in footwear, for the most part, you launch a product, say, every 2 years. Usually you want to get 2 years life cycle. And, our speed design is right around 2 years. And the Bold that we launched this past year, we got a lot of constructive criticism about the look of that shoe. It seems like our demographic doesn't like that big billboard effect on the side with the big name Sqairz on it. They're not the kind of person that would buy a Nike swoosh on a side, or a shoe, or a big N for New Balance. We learned some lesson about some design things that we did, but I'm really excited about this year. I think this is by far the best lineup of products that we've ever launched, for sure.
Now, at the show last week, and we've posted it on our social media accounts, I met with some people that you are co-branding the pickleball shoes with, that you have coming out. I know. So I want to dive into that first before we get into the new shoes. Can you talk about that and talk about the pickleball shoes? And I'm excited. We talked about it on our video about also being, and you and I have had this conversation, the everyday shoe for the Sqairz wearer, because they're that comfortable. So can you talk about the pickleball design?
Yeah, that's been a little over a year in development. And one of the things that we found in pickleball is those short side-to-side, back and forth movements require incredible balance and stability to execute the shot. And if you're rolling over on your lateral, your medial side, it's a loss of power. But that sport is riddled with injury. I mean, you just keep hearing that people are getting injured. In fact, there's a lot of statistics out there. So, with our design, it allows the toes to sit naturally in the shoe. You get better balance, better stability. But we also put a pivot point on the bottom of the shoe. We had some break points on the shoe. We looked at where the material stresses the most on the side-to-side action. So we added a little more structure in that area. We protected the toe from toe drags. And we started testing maybe about 3 or 4 months ago with Zane Navratil. And Zane is, I think, the number 3 or 4 ranked pickleball player in the world. And so we've done a couple of iterations with him. And the last time we spoke to him, which was about 2 weeks ago, he thinks we nailed it. Absolutely loves the shoes, performed exactly the way he wants. And I would tell you that, he made a comment, it's one of the most comfortable shoes of any shoes ever worn. So, I think we're ready to go.
Bob, I think, and I'm going to say this from my standpoint, and I was out with someone that that's got some shoes, Hayden, the Orlando golfer, that's got some Sqairz. We've got him in Sqairz too. And he has broken his ankles 5 different times between the two of them. I ripped my ankle apart in high school, and I will say this, and you and I had this conversation the first time we met, was this shoe gives me more support in my ankle, and I don't feel like I'm going to roll it. Whether it's the pickleball shoe, and I've got to wear the prototype of it last year. You guys sent me a pair when I was caddying, but this shoe, I feel like my foot is way more stable in, and you're not going to get hurt. So, any way you can prevent those injuries in pickleball, that's great. So that's awesome. So
it's in any land-based sport, you need to use the ground, and balance and stability is paramount in executing, whether it's a baseball swing or it's a pickleball or whatever motion it is. It's balance and stability are important. And, injury prevention obviously is important. And our shoes, all of our shoes have a heel stabilizer, and that heel stabilizer runs down from the heel all the way down into the arch. And that gives you great arch support, but it prevents rollover injury as well.
Yeah. So, all right. So now for the real reason, Bob, and we're excited to do this. So we're going to roll our unboxing video, and we want to hear about the new Sqairz golf line. So hold on 1 second here.
Sure. I love your graphics.
We're state of the art now, Bob. I don't know. We're big time now. So
I remember the first time I came on, you guys were coloring things.
We were color by number. So yeah, we've way upgraded color by number.
So, Bob, this is the old Bold line, here, forget the grass and everything here on the bottom. But you have a new shoe coming out. I'm a big fan of this one. I know what you're saying, like with the billboard. I'm not a big guy for logos. I'm really not. But this shoe and everything, I've never really noticed it as like a billboard, on there. And I'm just like, it's your product, it's your name, and it's kind of like a Nike swoosh or a Brooks running shoe, and I've never really noticed that in there. So what is going to be different from this bold with your new shoes coming out?
Yeah, Bob, really quick. You know what's more impressive about Dave holding that shoe, that there's grass on it, is that it's amazing that there isn't snow on it because he's in Iowa. So
the snow's melted. It is melted. I missed it all.
It's kind of heartwarming when I see a shoe with grass on it. It really is. It's like, because right now we've got snow, and I think it's snowing outside. So, but yeah, this year we really. We looked at our demographic, and our demographic, we've done surveys after surveys, and our demographic is really from an 18 handicap and better, and it's people who play over 40 rounds a year. And it's really that,
I'm out.
See, but that's why we have people like you, because we're going to work your way into this, So, but one of the things we looked at was really design and how we accented color and really pop the shoe in certain ways. So I'm going to show you the new speed model, and I think this is probably the first time that I've showed this in public. So this is
Bob. I'm drooling. But I know we've texted yes, please, in the blue. Thank you.
Yeah. So this, as you can see, there's some accenting in here. We call it a fade, and it just kind of gives you a little, pop for that, that fun look. And we've got a gold color in the middle of the shoe here, and it kind of it ties in with the heel pull tab, the color there. But as you can notice on the top eyelet, it's a square eyelet, and it's got a little accent of a gold color. So it really pops the shoe. It's very clean, very good looking shoe, and this comes in 5 colors. The next is what we call the Pro S2, and this is more your country club look. And this is the speed. This is the brother of the bold that you were holding up, Dave. If you notice, we embossed the name Sqairz. And so it's got embossing. Now, one of the things that embossing does on a golf shoe is it gives it a little more structure in that area, because you're pulling that material in, you're heating it up and you're pulling it in. So it gives you a little more structure, and we can see on pressure mats that people are getting a little more structure. So again, this comes in 4 different colorways, very clean, very solid looking shoe. Now, I will tell you that all of our new shoes are about 1.5 ounces lighter. So It is noticeably lighter. And we went to a new foam EVA in the midsole. And we've been testing this for quite some time, because one of the things that people fail to tell golfers about midsoles, and you see shoes that have got thick midsoles, and you think to yourself, man, those got to be comfortable. But what they do is they provide cushioning. So what cushioning is energy absorption. That's what cushioning does. It absorbs energy so you don't feel. But in the golf swing, you want a good, easy transfer of the pressure down and the pressure up. And too thick a midsole is going to absorb a lot of energy. So it's what we did is we have the right balance of cushioning, comfort, but energy exchange. And it took us a while to get there. So it's noticeably different. You'll feel it. It'll be a little more squishy here, but it really is I think we took up the notch of this shoe in terms of comfortability. And I didn't think that was possible, because again, comfort is allowing your toes to sit naturally. But then again, it's every time you strike the ground and what you feel. So I'm really proud of this one. The last one is, this is the first ever swing speed rated golf shoe. And so what what we mean by that is that there are a lot of people, and we all joke about people swinging out of their shoes. Well, this is one pair you'll never be able to swing out of. All right. And the reason is, when in a golf shoe, where most of the energy is lost is two places. Number one, on the lateral side of the shoe. So every shoe stretches on the lateral side because it gets a tremendous amount of pressure. And what happens is the force, you're losing energy straight out the side of the shoe. However, this is a proprietary material that is hot. It's a hot melt, and it's on the shoe at a very, very thin film. And what it does is it minimizes expansion in that area. And what that does is, if I can minimize it here, it means the energy is going up and you're utilizing it in the swing. The other area of tremendous energy loss is when the laces start to come undone. And so we put, for those people with very high swing speed that stress all areas of the shoe, we put these lace lock system. So these laces come through the 4 lace lock pieces on this shoe. And once you tie this, you don't even have to tie it at the top of the shoe. It won't move. So anybody that's got an aggressive swing, this shoe is ideal. And it's what we call speed rated shoe. We call this velo for velocity. And so it's a solid shoe. It's, again, lightweight. It's got the same cushioning. I do want to go back to the Pro S2 for one moment, because I failed to mention this material on the Pro S2. If you can see it, it's got a grain microfiber. So this is microfiber, very breathable, lightweight, and it's still waterproof. All of our models, except for our mesh, are waterproof. But this shoe right here has been in test market for over a year, and the performance result, we're seeing added swing speed increases just by putting this on.
That's
Bob, I think one of the things, and I want to jump in, sorry, Dave, I cut you off, but
yeah,
one of the things with Sqairz that I noticed from the beginning, and you and I sat down, actually, it's funny, I was talking with somebody at the PGA Show last week who was asking me for advice. They weren't exhibiting, and he said, what do you think I should do to get my name out there? And I was actually telling him the story of you guys being down in the dungeon of the convention center at the Orange County Convention Center. And I told him, I said, if you asked me to go find that room, I couldn't find it again. But when we laughed, and I said, one of the things that you did great was you brought all the media in, and you sat and you talked with us. And typically when we show up, and Dave, you saw this last week from a media standpoint, if we're with somebody for 15 minutes, that's a long time.
Yeah,
I was with you that first time for an hour. We sat there and talked for an hour. I felt like we could have had lunch and had a couple of drinks, and it would have been just the same. But one of the things that I think you guys have done from the beginning is you've added the technology, and you've advanced the technology better than anybody else in this business. And you have found a way to help golfers, and not just from a, you talk about in your commercials, like spend $600 or $800 on that driver, or buy some shoes and you can gain distance. You guys put a lot of time and energy into the R&D side. Can you talk about that and why you guys did that?
Yeah. We've got a very extensive email database, and we do surveys, and we watch social media, and we look at the feedback as constructive criticism, and when we launched this, people said, hey, look, they feel a little heavy. But at the time, if you were to compare that with a FootJoy Premier or a G4 Gallivant, or it's right there. It's the same weight. But people just felt as though it, in a performance shoe, you've got to balance out structure and weight. And the more you take structure out of the shoe, the more weight you take out. But, you keep adding structure, you want to have good structure, you're going to have to set the bar for the weight of the shoe. There are ways to take it out, and we keep hunting that down. And we made a big difference this year, pulling out 1.5 ounces. And that's pretty important. That's significant. You can feel, even though it sounds, like most people, you can feel it in the shoe. And so we're always innovating, but we're listening to golfers. And some of the things we did is we did like a mesh collar here on this shoe, highly breathable. We added more padding. So it's a form fit. We call it form fit padding, that once you put it in, it really hugs your shoe in a very, hugs your foot in a very comfortable way. So, but we look at, and we've got the stay put laces, and we print silicone on these laces. So once you pull it through the eyelet and tie it, it stays put. So we're always looking at every aspect of the shoe. Now, on this Speed 2 shoe, as you can see, we've got a gear effect on the side where we embossed. And again, the reason for that, when you do a little embossing, it provides a little more structure in that area. So the other thing, if you can notice here on the heel, it's got a carbon film.
Mm-hmm.
And that, again, gives you good structure. And it gives you, you can do this in a lightweight fashion, but it gives you a lot of protection on energy loss, gives you a little more stability. And so, we're always looking at new materials. We're looking at, traction pattern. I mean, this traction pattern was developed, it's an AI developed traction pattern. So it's, as you can see, it's rotational, and the cleats are strategically placed. So every aspect of the shoe, it comes together, and we're the only company, the only golf footwear company out there, and this could be fact checked, that is really telling people that we can increase your swing speed and improve your accuracy. Now, how we know that is that over all these years of testing on a pressure mat, we can measure your balance and stability. And they call it, trace lines. And you can watch people's heads move left, right, back, forth, and you look at weight distribution on your feet. And so we can measure, somebody stands on a pressure mat with their shoes and then in our shoes, and we can measure that difference. And the fundamental premise of all of our designs is, if we can improve your balance and stability, you will hit it further and straighter.
I just want to comment really quick that next time we're all together, we need to get Dave on a pressure mat, because I want to watch that.
So, and Bob, it's something that I noticed, like when we were out at demo day. I didn't wear these out to demo day. I had my just my regular tennis shoes on. They're Brooks tennis shoes, and swinging clubs at demo day, and then going out and playing golf. I'm a 19 handicap right now. I could tell the difference between swinging, just in these, and just being out at demo day in my tennis shoes. It's an unbelievable, experience. And in our previous video, I had other shoes on in our previous intro video, and everything. And it's just what I've been able to feel, just in these shoes as the, average golfer that I am is just unbelievable. You're 100% right with, how the stability transfers all the way through the ground in your swing speed and just your balance on the course.
Yeah. And it's really, it's so fundamental that if in any kind of motion, whether it's a golf swing, baseball, whatever it may be, you've got to use the ground, and you use it efficiently if you're balanced and stable. If you're not balanced and stable, you're losing energy. You're losing that energy you create with the ground. Now, there's been so many studies done out there. The number one difference between a tour pro and an amateur player is what they call postural control. Now, postural control is the center point for the word consistency. So postural control in the word stability is controlling your body throughout a motion. And if you can control your body throughout a motion repeatedly, you get the consistency in the swing. But if you're picking your head up, you're going back and forth and left and right, like all of us amateurs do. We can't, we're the type of people that can go out and shoot, 36, 45. Or in Steve's case, he shoots 36, 34. So, it's
42.
Listen, my handicap's up to 6, Bob. Okay. Listen, I'm not gonna, It says 6 on my card. I can show it to you. I'm trying to get it higher, actually, because
I hear you.
it's the only way I can compete.
But see, one of the things is that inconsistency is the number one reason. I mean, the number one difference between a tour player and an amateur like us is our ability to control our body consistently throughout that motion. And that really starts and ends with balance and stability, because as you all know, your arms follow your body. So a lot of people think about slicing, and they think, well, it's because, of course the club face is coming in open. Well, it's I could tell you for sure it's weight distribution. You could be too much back, you could be too much front, too much forward, too much back, and your arms are following your body, and your body is telling you that something is off and you're trying to compensate. So
Dave, that's your problem right there. It's your body.
Oh, and here I thought it was just me digging my clubs into the ground before hitting the ball.
Well, it could have something to do with it.
Awesome. Well, Bob, I appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much for taking time out of your night. I know your much better half has some plans this evening, so I appreciate you taking time out and tell her we say hello and send our best. And do me a favor, when you see that big, crazy, goofy guy, Mr. Bacon, tomorrow, tell him I said hello as well. So,
I will do that. And guys, listen, thank you so much. It really is. It's a pleasure to be on. And you talked about my growth in terms of Sqairz and all that over the years. And it's great to see you guys growing too. Hey, that's what happens when you put out a good product. So keep it up. And
thank you.
Hey, I love being on the show. So anytime somebody cancels, call me. I'm in.
Sounds good, Bob. Thank you so much.
All right, boys.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. Take care.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Dave, I want to address a couple things that happened during that before we move on to Smack the Week.
So before, hey guys, this was a pre-recorded segment. We have all your comments here. Steve and I did that with Bob kind of earlier today, so we're going to try and address a couple of these as coming
I do
through.
want to a couple things came up. Robert Gillespie want to address, you asked when will the shoes be out. They will be available for pre-order on 2/20, and they will be live on 3/10. So March 10th they will be available. So there's your dates for launch on that.
And also, Bob, yes, they are. We talked waterproofing kind of off the air with him a little bit. He talked about how these shoes overall is waterproof, and even the tongue, because it's the same material as the shoes. It's not like a mesh right in there, that it's waterproof kind of all the way through right there.
And because the tongue is sewn in, the waterproof line is actually higher on these than they are on any other golf shoe. And Bob,
see, I paid attention.
You asked about the pickleball shoe to teach in. It's funny. I actually saw these pickleball shoes a year ago at the PGA Show. Bob and I sat down and talked about them, and he asked me about them. And I said to him, actually, it was 2 years ago at the PGA Show. They've been working this shoe for a while. And I said to him, I think you're selling yourself short by just marketing this shoe as a pickleball shoe. I looked at him and I said, this needs to be your caddy shoe. This needs to be your everyday wear shoe, and it needs to be your teaching shoe for instructors. So I will tell you that they have a new instructor on staff that they just signed to a deal. They're in the process of. Saw him last week wearing the Sqairz shoes, and that's David Ledbetter is even wearing them now. So again, when you have that shoe that you can sit in and teach in, it really is a cool thing. And I will tell you, having worn them, they are really good. So thanks for your questions during that interview, guys. I did want to make sure we answered all of those.
And Mike, I don't think it's going to be a BOA system on any of them, just because of the laces.
With the stay put laces, and the way they work, I wouldn't go to the stay put laces work great. So, and Duff, the spikeless, the pickleball shoes would be great for you, actually. So I will throw that out there. Those would be a great shoe for you.
And Bob, yes, I need a swing coach. We've always known that. We'll always know that, and it's not going to happen. So you're going to get the same old Dave you always get.
Will it ever help him anyway? Like, let's be real.
No. So,
All
but
right,
guys,
so
great
let's
questions.
move.
Well, some of these
Yeah.
we'll shoot off some of these questions to Bob. I'm sure he's gonna go back and watch this segment too. But thanks for taking the time there.
All right, it's time for this.
Let's get on to the fun.
Smack my mama.
The fun stuff. So
This is the
you know
wrong
what?
intro, and you know it.
It's the only one that says. Hold on. I can't. That video's too long. It really is too long. Like it's longer than a segment. When the video's longer than the segment, like it's a problem.
So
You know, every week we try and find a funny video or something, and we make fun of a lot of other people and have a good laugh. And if you can't laugh at yourself and you can't make fun of yourself at your own expense, then you can't really do this segment, and that's how we're gonna say it. So,
yeah.
Last week at the PGA, I'm gonna roll this, and then Dave, we can talk about this afterwards. Just everyone, pay attention to the look on our faces, because that might be the best part of this whole video.
And Simon,
for a sandwich and a beer, and you're through in 5 minutes, and it's
You can get through that, every detail. They've got it down. Yes. But yeah, no, that's such a cool place to go.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, we've got Dave. The hand gesture was my favorite. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So we were literally in the middle of being live last week, and literally this guy walks around the corner, like 3 people try to stop him, and says, "Are you guys on the air right now?"
As he's holding a product in his hand.
And we're sitting with Simon from Golf Brands, and Simon has been on our show before, so I'm glad it wasn't somebody that hadn't been on our show before that knows how casual we are anyway. But to have Simon there, it actually made me laugh. Because even Simon gave him
Simon in his great British accent saying yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was that. So we are going to move on to let's see, not that one. Where are we? Here we go. We really need a production guy for this. I feel like, if we could, if Will wants to hang out.
We had a hand. Hey, we did have a hand model last week.
We did actually. You know what's funny is I believe he is watching right now. Bobby, our hand model last week, I believe was watching right now on Instagram. He was the last one to join in on Instagram. So, Bobby, thank you again for last week being our hand model. But yeah, so let's go Rory first, and then we'll recap the PGA Show. Rory came out today and said that
short and sweet.
Rory came out today and said,
let everybody back.
Let everybody back, no penalty. I'm going to give your 2 cents, and then I'll give mine.
I hate the backtracking, but it's gonna be I don't mind people coming back. I think the way that originally proposed that they're not going to get whatever players cut or endowment or whatever they were going to keep for the players getting loyal. Great. Does there need to be some kind of waiting period for them to come back? Maybe, but here we're at the point right now that the tour, the quality of play on the tour, and with some other people rumored to be leaving pretty soon, the quality of play on the tour is only going to go down. Now, next man up mentality. We've seen some great stories come out already. We have an amateur that has won. We've had 4 long shots basically come in and win tournaments, which is, I think, overall great, where we're not having, we'll throw it back to, Jack and Lee and Arnie and Gary and all those guys that, just, it was a rotation of week after week. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. Scotty, Rory, Cantley, Shoffley, JT, Jordan, those are your normal names. But to see, Bahia was up there at the top of the list a couple weeks. Thagala has been up there. You're getting better names out there like Victor and Max Homa. But I still think you need people to come back. I think you need Brooks. You need John Rahm.
Here's my
you
problem.
Need these guys.
Here's my problem.
You need these guys playing every week to make your television product better. One is not going to survive without this is like the USFL going against the NFL. Sure, they got Herschel Walker, to start with, but the quality of product is not going to be great on either side until they're playing together again. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Here's the big issue that I have with Rory's comment. You have gone down this road where, and again, we addressed some things earlier where the powers that be on the policy board all of a sudden got sponsors exemptions this week, even with their crummy ass world rankings.
Can we address Kid before you go on?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Bradley's comment there. Look at Bradley's comment. No, he is 100% correct. We love the game.
Right.
Ironically enough, Will was watching for Love of the Game earlier today. Or the greatest game ever played, sorry. No, I wouldn't stop playing, but to watch on TV or to pay to go to a tournament, it's like people complaining about the
Here's
NBA.
The other problem. You're going down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down when you talk about paying to go to a tournament, because I don't like to do that to begin with.
Yeah, I know.
My bigger problem with what Rory said is, to me, now you're rewarding these guys that have taken the money and gone to live. They took this cash grab, and you're not being loyal to the people that stayed. And that's why, to me, there has to be a penalty. There has to be you know what? No, you're going to have to wait a while. And I don't think that the live season can coexist with the PGA Tour season. I really don't. I almost say this, and I don't mean this negatively, because live could really turn into something good if you pulled it and said, you know what, this is going to be what was the silly season or the fall series or whatever it was. I think that you could do something with live in the way the live structure is and make it and focus on the team aspect of it versus this. Are you an individual event or are you a team event? I don't. And I also look at the guys that went to live, and I've been in a debate online on Facebook with some people who are literally trying to say that live is the greatest thing ever and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, you can't decide what you are. And they're like, oh, you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. And I'm like, you can't. And if you have a player that admits, I'm not trying to birdie the last hole to win a golf tournament so that my team doesn't lose, because if I make bogey, my team will lose the team event. I have trouble. That's where I have trouble with the world ranking points. I have trouble with a lot of things aspect of it. I think if you did this right and made live a team event, because we all relish the Ryder Cup. Like, why is the Ryder Cup so successful? Why is the President's Cup so successful? Because they're team events. You're rooting for your country. You're rooting for the international squad or the European squad. I feel like at this point, if you want to let live back in, live needs to be a team thing. And live is very top heavy. And let's be real. You have Cam Smith. You have John Rahm. Great players, right? And you have some great players at the top of that, some of the captains. But even some of those captains, Bubba's
past their prime.
Like, Bubba's way past his prime. And I love Bubba. Don't get me wrong. I'm the first one to be like, let's go, Bubba. Like, you're fun to watch. I've played behind him at Orange Tree. Like, Bubba's fun to watch when you're up close. He really, truly is, because you never know what he's going to do, and it's going to be fun to watch. But, let's be real. Phil hasn't finished inside the top 5 on the LIV Tour. They're paying him $200 million to not finish inside the top 5. That's a lot of money. And yes, paid him to get the other guys. Let's be real. But, like, Bryson, I'll be honest with you. I've been around Bryson. He's quirky. And I'm being nice in saying that. But he's fun to watch at a golf ball. It's fun to watch him hit a golf ball. I'm not going to you can't argue that point that Bubba's not fun. Bryson's not fun to watch hit a golf ball. But when you look at what's gone on, and when you look at where they're going, Terrell Hatton going to live. I'll be honest with you, like him announcing that he's going to live this week, least surprising thing ever. And honestly, the only thing that's so surprising on him going to live is that it took this long.
Yeah. Hey, what about your favorite live player in mine, Captain America?
Do we have to talk about him?
No, we don't.
Cheater?
But, so
cheater?
no,
I mean, let's be real. Like, I can't think of him as other than dragging a club back through the sand or picking a ball up and saying it's plugged when it really wasn't. Like, again, I struggle with guys that have integrity issues out there on the PGA Tour anyway.
So I'm going to agree with you on the live needs. And the three of us has discussed this ad nauseum about how live needs to figure out what they are.
Correct. They don't know what they are.
And we love the New Orleans event. Live needs to be a team event and get over it.
And again,
yes,
New Orleans doesn't get World Golf Ranking points. You don't get World Golf Ranking points if you win.
No, you don't get points. But and here's the thing: you're right. Liv needs to take that place of the College Bowl series that nobody cares about in the fall. We stopped doing our picks after the Tour Championship, after the FedEx.
Correct.
Liv could take the place in this. The whole Tiger and Rory indoor. That's all. It was a team event. Now you could just take that. The bubble burst on that one, and we all know it. The bubble is burst.
Literally.
Let's take that. Let's make the Tiger Rory Live fall team event. And
I do like the idea of the.
Well, here's the thing.
TGL.
It could be
and
like.
I'll tell you why
it
I
could
like
be
the,
like.
why I like the TGL.
Well, here's the thing. Hold on.
It's a Monday night primetime thing. I like the idea of TGL, and then it's Monday night one night, and we're done. Like, I like that idea.
But here's the thing. You have your teams. Say you make your teams 3 people. These are your 3 people, your guys that were live. And then each week it's like DraftKings. You get to draft one other player every single week that rotates in and out. So maybe one week you
should rotate, that we need to rotate social media or podcasters in there just so that we can watch you play in that environment, Dave. I'll sit with my popcorn. I'm going to be honest.
It's me and the machine walking the course doing interviews.
Oh God. Let's move on after that comment. You and the machine. So last week we spent the week at the PGA Show, and I really didn't want to go down any other road other than to recap the PGA Show during last call until Rory opened his mouth today. So let's talk about the PGA Show. So.
Hey, thank you to everybody that.
Hold up, really quickly. I agree with part 1 of this. We don't need Caddyshack 2 ever. This is the only time I will highlight a Caddyshack 2 reference, Bradley, is you commenting with this with the Netflix Cup. But Caddyshack 2 was the worst movie ever made. Where Caddyshack was
even though it had Dan Aykroyd, yes.
Yeah, no, it was Dan Aykroyd trying to be Bill Murray. Let's be real.
Bill Murray, and that's when they weren't talking to one another.
Correct. So I think I want to start this conversation on recapping the PGA Show, Dave. Let's start with, and I want to get to the thanking everybody. No, I want to get to that, but let's talk about best product you saw last week.
I'm going to be a little biased on this, and it's a shameless plug, and I said it in the video. For me, it was the wine suitcase.
Okay. Fly with wine. Fly with wine. No, with wine. I'm not arguing that. I mean, that especially in the business that you're in, that is a great product. It is a great product.
And the fact that
you could anything else,
the fact that you could take the inserts out and half the suitcase could be packed with clothes. Yeah, Bradley, shocking. Half the suitcase could be packed with clothes. Half the suitcase could be packed with your favorite beverages. For me, that was great. If we want to talk like golf course products, and I think you're going to laugh when I say this, I love the Zoom Broom.
You know why I'm going to laugh when you say that is because I feel like you laughed at that product when we said we were going to meet with them.
I did.
And I had already seen it, and I knew what the thing could do. And I'll be honest, I have no use for the Zoom Broom. If you guys
for me, once I saw it, and I'm like, I could use it.
The Zoom Broom
I
fits
could
in your
use it.
golf bag, and it's a leaf blower, so the leaf rule is no longer an equation anymore.
Yeah.
I had already met them. I had met with them before. I think it's a great product, and I think it's a great,
Great.
cool invention. I'm gonna say this.
It's great. It's smaller than I thought it was. It's fantastic.
Best product that I saw last week. I'm gonna go on a limb, and I'm gonna say Desert Fox Golf's new speaker, Bluetooth speaker. I know
Shameless plug.
it's a shock. You can check our social media out, and I'll tell you why I like it. Is one, it's got the charger cable built into it, so if your speaker dies on the golf course, you can plug it in the golf cart. 2, it's customizable. 3, the sound on it is awesome. And it is the perfect volume level for the golf course. So they're not going to hear you 3 holes over, but you're good in your group.
Yeah.
And
here
the other product that I really, really liked.
Before we move on to that, I'm the Desert Fox. Saw it, I designed, and I went, no. But we put it on the golf cart, and it made sense. The angle of everything, once you put that on the cart, everything made sense. And I went, geez.
Dave, I'm waiting for Bradley to comment on your internet needing a drink here because your internet's acting up.
It's mine, it's yours, it's somebody's.
So the other product that I really liked, and they were at the show last year and kind of surprised a few people. Caddy Talk, and Caddy Talk USA, their rangefinder with triangulation on it. We had them on our podcast last week. And
she was great.
Angela was great on our podcast. If you haven't watched our podcast from last Thursday from the show floor,
go watch it.
You need to go back and watch it. That podcast.
Go watch Wednesday too.
Wednesday and Thursday, both those podcasts and the companies that we had on was awesome. But Angela was on Thursday with Caddy Talk and their triangulation, where you can stand, if you're cart path only, you can stand laser your golf ball, laser the flag. It'll tell you the distance in between both objects. And so you only have to bring 1 or 2 clubs with you versus your whole bag with you. So that product is absolutely amazing. Another product, and I want to highlight a couple brands and their booths and what they did also at the show. First off, our buddies at Dormy Workshop, their booth was and it usually is, but when I tell you their booth was busy from we went by there, said
sun up to sundown.
Sun up to sundown, busy. They've got some cool stuff coming. We really can't talk about what they have that's coming because we're sworn to secrecy on this. But just understand that Dormy Workshop, if you haven't ordered your Dormy Workshop head cover, you are behind the times. The other booth, and they were literally we could play soft toss from one booth to the other. Eastside Golf, they were the talk of the show. And let's be real, Earl and Olajuwon from Eastside Golf and the Eastside Golf team, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a cooler group of people. What they're doing to grow the game, what they're doing to make the game better, they have figured it out. Cool logo, cool
and
people.
There's two guys that were on the APGA tour.
Well, one guy that was on the APGA tour, Earl wasn't. Earl is a teaching pro, and they are.
Olajuwon was. Okay.
Olajuwon was on the APGA tour, but they were absolutely amazing. They were on the same show with Angela on Thursday. So if you haven't watched that show, go back and watch it and I will tell you, I'm going to say this. From our standpoint, when they showed up, and they were on our show for basically the last 30 minutes of that podcast, they came in with, I felt like we were and I'm going to say this, were we the New Heights podcast at that point when they walked in? They had a full camera crew with them, photographer, video, their PR person was with them.
Their own mic set up.
There just they had their own mic set up, and we we just went for 30 minutes talking with them. And when
I felt
tell
bad
you-
for Bradley. I felt bad for Brad from Bradley
I
Putters.
did. I
'cause
talked
he
to
was-
Brad from Bradley Putters was on just before that, and we kind of were like, "Hey, you got to go, deuces." And I feel bad. I actually talked to him about it, and he laughed. Like, we had a good laugh, and he's like, "No, I got it." But no, the
like,
idea of what they have brought to the game of golf, and we talk about growing the game of golf all the time. When you're in this business, you talk about how do you grow the game of golf, and there are brands out there that know how to grow the game of golf, and there are brands out there that don't know how to grow the game of golf. And I'm not going to mention any of those that don't, because I don't want to associate myself with brands that don't know how to grow the game of golf, because I feel like that's what we try and do. But they have figured out how to grow the game of golf and make golf cool in a time where, I mean, you look at their brand, they're the first brand to ever do a collab with Jordan. Like, when you think about that, and you think about the Jordan line and what the Jordan line means to like Nike and Jordan and the Jordan brand, like, that is huge. From a club standpoint, Mizuno's Azalea edition, the green-headed irons that they have with the Azalea shafts from True Temper, they're as pretty looking in person as they are in in the pictures. Hold on, I'm going to put this comment up here. Joe, it was awesome seeing you last week as well. I love spending time with you. I'm going to apologize that we did not get to smoke a cigar together last week, and that is on me because we were so busy. So I apologize but that needs to happen sooner rather than later.
He's right. Golfing Dad's Tavern. Hit that like, subscribe, and follow button right there.
We're blowing up. So, but when you look at what I look at last week, and I'm going to say this, I love the PGA Show. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. It's a busy week. Like, I still feel like it's now a Tuesday going into Wednesday, and I still feel like I'm trying to catch up on sleep.
But here's the thing: like Eastside Golf, we went by their booth on, what was it, Friday, and that group that they had there, just interacting in the booth, was amazing.
Right. But here's my problem with what happened at the PGA Show this year. The PGA Show in the past has been
the unveiling. The unveiling.
The unveiling. It was the unveiling for a lot of companies. I'm going to be honest with you. There wasn't a lot of new there this year. There wasn't.
No.
But it was still. I love this week for
we had some great content with Cobra. Cobra amazed me. Cobra really amazed me.
Yeah, the dark speed's great. But when you look at what happened at the show last week, one of my favorite things about the show is it's the one spot where we all are during the year. And so whether it's Joe and catching up with Joe, or like I said to Bob that I missed seeing him at the show. It's the one spot where we can all sit and have a conversation and laugh and catch up and be like, how's the family? It's great to see you. How are the kids?
Yeah.
And that's what the show does for me. We got to hang out, and it was funny because we have had Dan and Pat on from Tag Golf on the show before. And so we've had them on. And
quick shout out, Red Golfer.
Red Flag Golfer too. Yeah, we love Red Flag Golfer. She was great. Great seeing her. Getting to meet them. Craig from Talatag. Craig from Talatag is always a good time.
And here's the thing for Greg and
their dial ball marker, by the way. Talatag's dial ball marker. Hold on.
And here's the thing: this was the first time. Like, Steve, you've met a lot of these people before. This is the first time I got to meet everybody face to face. And if you followed the show, watched all of our interviews, these people are just amazing in person as on our video screen. And one of the most amazing people outside of, Craig and Taltag, I enjoy the wine. I want to give a quick shout out, Baron Palm, Nate.
Bear the Palm. Nate Lindsay from Bear the Palm. Bear the Palm is their booth is amazing.
Nate's like our new best friend. He's a golfing dad.
He is. He was watching earlier. He was watching earlier on Instagram. Actually, I saw him pop up on Instagram. But when you look at some of these brands that are out there, and I'm hoping in the next couple weeks we can have some really huge news on some things that we talked about at the show with some of these brands.
Yep.
But I also feel like when you look at what this show is and be able to sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, what do you have that's new? What are you doing? What are you working on? Being able to see the Sqairz pickleball shoes that were there, being able to see the dark speed. And I'm a big fan of matte finish on golf clubs, especially drivers, fairway woods, and hybrids. And the new
go check out our video.
The new Cobra line, the dark speed with the matte finish is awesome. Also, and I've got to eat some crow here, Dave. I do need to eat some crow before we go. And I had to send an email. So at demo day, we got the new Bridgestone Mindset golf balls, and where other brands have put like tacos and hamburgers and milkshakes and whatever on their golf balls as a golf ball marker, Bridgestone came out and they worked with Jason Day to have the Mindset, and it puts you in the right mindset. There's an outer layer, kind of a bigger circle, and you work your way down to focus on hitting the golf ball. It's a red, yellow, green. So outer layer, kind of get yourself focused in. Inner layer, get ready to hit the shot, visualize it, and then green, pull the trigger. We tried it after demo day. We had our little match with Shank and Duff show, and I was like, I'm not someone who uses an alignment line on my golf ball, so I really didn't like it doing it that way. On Saturday afternoon, we played. You guys played in the morning. You and Greg played in the morning. I played in the afternoon with the guys from Dormy Workshop. Mike joined us. Hayden joined us, the Orlando golfer. I made 4 birdies using the golf ball as, putting it on a tee and using that mindset mark to be like where I want to hit the golf ball, and then also using it when I putted as my impact point on the back of the golf ball. So I was trying to hit the mindset versus figuring out how to line it up. Because if I focus on trying to line it up, I focus too much on line, and I know that about me. I made 4 birdies, and so I've got to eat some crow here and say to Bridgestone, I love it. Absolutely love it. And mindset, if you follow the mindset steps, you will help improve your game. And I know, Dave, you and I talked about this earlier today. We talked about the Bridgestone lineup of golf balls, and the fitting process.
So I went through the online. We all talk about fitting for golf clubs and what shaft length works and fitting. We had Makefield putters on and Bradley putters on, and both of them go through an extremely extensive fitting process for the putters. Even though Bradley putters is a one of a kind, it is you can take it out. It is tour legal. You can take it out and play, and it is a fitting process. I sat down and I did the Bridgestone golf ball fitting process on their website. I highly recommend it. That's on there. And we all play, the 3 of us all come to play different Bridgestone balls. Greg plays a Tour B RXS mindset. It comes in the green box. I play the red box. It's the Tour B RX mindset. So there's a little bit of, Greg likes a little bit softer feel. I don't know what the difference between, if I spin the ball, it is out of pure luck. So I need a little bit more of that control. And Steve, I think you were in the BX mindset.
I do play the BX partly because I want a ball that doesn't spin. I already spin the ball enough, so I want the firmest ball that's out there.
Yeah. So I went through their fitting process on their website. There's an easy one that's like 3 steps, and there's a little bit more intense one. But if you already know what ball you play normally, take a minute, look at, and this is just we got a couple sleeves of balls for free to try out, but I'm going to go out and I will probably buy boxes on my own now of these Bridgestone mindset and sold.
Yep.
So
all right. Well, that
being
recaps that. Yep. We hope Greg feels better. Missed him this week.
Please check out, go to our Instagram pages.
Yeah,
Golfing
and we're
Dad's Tavern.
Instagram, TikTok too. I'm posting a lot on TikTok. So check us out.
But we had a lot of content out there.
Yeah, ton of content.
There was a lot to follow this past week, but there was a lot of content out there. Go follow it. There may have been a couple shameless plugs on my wine page as well too, but it's all on the Golfing Dad's Tavern page. I know, shocker.
Shocking.
We'll have some more content. I don't think we've got it all out yet, or do we?
No, we don't. No, there'll be some more out tomorrow.
Yeah,
and pretty excited. Like, you know, when you look at what we've done and the things that we did, like it was a fun week. And I'm looking forward to some big announcements coming in the next few weeks. So hope everybody had a great week, and we will see you next week.
Cheers, y'all. Tip your bartender.
Just really fortunate, man. I mean, having the opportunity to build something that's as fun as you guys would say. I mean, it's showing another light. Oh, you know what I mean? Different.